Hello and welcome to the Learning Square. In this tutorial, I will introduce you to NumPy. So this is one comprehensive tutorial to set you going for NumPy. So NumPy is a fundamental package for scientific computing using Python. It is a general purpose array processing package where you have arrays coming in two flavors. We have vectors and we have matrices. So vectors are strictly one-dimensional arrays and matrices are two-dimensional arrays. So let's get going. I have used the Anaconda distribution here to be able to run the Jupyter notebook. Now here I just first import NumPy as NP because it's a shorter abbreviation. Now I first define a list here. AR2 is equal to np.array L1. Now if I execute it, shift enter, if I say AR2, you can see it's now an array. It's a one-dimensional array because you have two square brackets here. Similarly, I could have a two-dimensional array. Let me just modify this. I'll give another. So this is a two-dimensional list here. Let's run this. You can see now the array is modified. It is a 2 cross 4 array that I have. It's a two-dimensional list because I have two square brackets here. To be able to recognize, it's very easy. Just look at the square brackets for the dimension of arrays. So we have something like an A range here, which is parallel to a range in the list. So if I give in values, let's say 0 to 11, shift enter, it gives me an array and it goes up to the maximum limit -1. An array is created, a one-dimensional array. I could give a step size also. So if I set this and maybe I give a step size of 2, here you can see the step size of 2 is taken and it goes up to 10. An inbuilt method to be able to generate an array of zeros, an array of ones. I could have a two-dimensional array as well. So if I just have, you can see I have a two-dimensional array of ones here. You can see it's in float values here by default. Then I have a command called linspace. I give the lower bound, the upper bound, and I say generate maybe 100 values between these bounds. So you can see the value starts from 1, it goes up to 11, and 100 values are equally spaced and generated here as an array. Now this is a one-dimensional array. Even though it may look like a two-dimensional array, it's a one-dimensional array because you have just one square bracket here. To be able to understand whether this is a one-dimensional or a two-dimensional array, here I could maybe assign this to a value and I could check the type of this using a2.shape. So it gives me it's a one-dimensional array of 100 values. Let's check the shape of AR2 here. So you can see AR2 was a 2 by 4 matrix. I could find out the data type in these arrays. So I could say A2 dot D type is for data type, shift enter, and you have floating values here for A2. So since I had floating values here, it's verified. So for AR2, if I want to find the data type, it's an integer of 32 bits. I could generate an identity matrix using np.i, where 4 cross 4 identity matrix is generated after this. I could find out the maximum and minimum of the arrays. So I could use A2. Let me find out what A2 was. So this is the A2 that I had. I say A2 dot max. It gives me the maximum value. I could find out the argument of this. So it gives me the argument as 99. So here, since this is a one-dimensional array, then 99th, it starts from 0 and it goes up to 99 here. So index value of this 11 was 99. Similarly, I could have found the index of 0 here, which would be 0. I could find out the minimum value, which is again 1 here because this was the minimum value here. Now there's something called a random generator here. So like we had in Python, so we have random.rand and I could give a dimension here. So it generates 3 values and all ranging between 0 and 1 randomly. If I gave 2 values here, then I got a two-dimensional array. I could have added rand n here Now here you can see the values are evenly distributed. Now I'll get a normal distribution here of the values generated. So this is normal distribution between -1 and +1. I could have used rand int here. I could give the lower bound, the upper bound, and the number of values that I want to generate here. So this is randomly generating values between 10 and 100, and we have 10 values here. Now let's move on to the slicing part. So let me create a two-dimensional array. Now let me create an array here of 20 values. So I have the starting value is 5 going up to 100 and a step size of 5 here. So let me reshape it into 5 by 4. So I have a command here. The only criteria for this command to run is that the number of elements that I have, 5 cross 4, 20, should be the numbers that I have in my original array. So here now I have a two-dimensional array here. So again, if I look at the shape of A1 here, you can see it is still a one-dimensional array. So I'll have to assign this value to something. So I say A2 is equal to A1 dot reshape 5, 4. Now if I look at the size of A2, it is this, and A2 dot shape should be a two-dimensional array here of 5 by 4. So let's look at the slicing here. It's similar to what we used to do in the lists. The first part in square brackets is for the rows and the second part is for the columns. So I start from first row, go up to the third row. So only first and second rows are included. So this is my first row. This is my second row. I'm looking at these two rows and I'm looking at columns from 2 to 3. So 2 and 3 are included here. So I'll be getting values here. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is how my numbering is done. So from the first row to the third row, so that is first and second rows, and second to third. So this is these 35, 40, 55, 60 should be here. Now I could do the slicing. So let's see if I want the third row completely. So I'll say A2, third row, and all the values of all the columns here. So you can try and slice yourself. Now there's an interesting part here. Suppose I say that A slice and I take the same values here. So this is now assigned to the A slice value. Now I say A slice. For all the values of A slice, I say put this value to be equal to 100. If I look at A slice now, it should have all hundreds. So it has all hundreds. Let me look at the original array here. So you can see the slice has an effect of changing the original array as well. So this is really important. If you don't want your original array to get modified, you have to make a copy of it. So I could say A copy is equal to A2 dot copy, and I create a copy here. Now just let's look at the A copy here first. I say all the elements of my A copy are equal to 100. Let's look at the A copy here. It's all 100 now. But if I look at the A2 here, it doesn't get modified. So this is important in the slicing part. I could also do operations on the array, like if I say A2 greater than 50. So now it gives me a Boolean array here. So for all values which are greater than 50, it assigns a true value. The rest are set to false. Now let me create two arrays here. Let's check the size of A1. If I check the size of A2, it's also 11. Now I can perform certain operations here, A1 plus A2. So it will add the respective elements and give me the array. If I want to check, so my A1 was this, A2 was this. So you can see I have an addition of the respective values here. I could do subtraction. So you get values of individual elements subtracted. I could multiply. I could also divide. Now here it's very important to remember that I was doing a 0 divided by 0 operation, which got converted into an NaN, which is not a number, and it just gave a warning. It does not give an error here. Then I could do np dot square root. So individually all the elements square root will be found out. I could find out the exponential of all the elements. I could find out the sign value. So trigonometric calculations. Again, you will see here log of 0 is not defined, so it is defined as infinity here, and again it's a warning, it's not an error. So this should get us going to start off with NumPy. I will see you in the next class. Thank you.